Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Papaw's place. Guys, today we have us a little project. We got an old topper shell. It's a 8-foot long. It was a Casey, C-A-S-E-Y brand. But it's in real good shape, but it's a 8-foot long. And I'm going to make this fit on my 2018 Toyota Tundra with the bed. Well, they call it a 6.5-foot bed, but I'm gonna need it 82 inches. So the first step we're gonna do is unscrew about 100 of these screws right here, and we're gonna take the front off, and we're gonna have to do the same thing in the back because I can't get enough cut off without it getting into the window. Plus, one of the windows right here is broke, so I'm gonna have to get me a piece of glass for it. We're gonna, before this is done, it's gonna be painted and it's gonna be set up for a truck camper. So when I go hunting for my one night quick hunts for 2 days, 1 night, and such like that by myself, I ain't got to hook to that 33-foot travel trailer. So first I'm gonna be removing these screws here and probably this piece of trim, and we're gonna see if we can just remove the whole front piece. Then I'm gonna take my grinder and we're gonna cut 8.5 inches. Well, that's off the bottom. It's got a little tilt to it, so it's about 7.5 on top. I've already got my measurements and got my lines here. I had to pop a line across the top. We'll cut that off and see if we can put this end back on. If it goes well, then I know I can do the other end, which has got the door that opens for the back. And that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to do it. Now, I just have it sitting across my utility trailer just because that's a good thing for it to sit on. But first, I'm going to go to removing all these screws. And I need to go get me something to put all these screws in. Because some of these screws we can reuse when we go to put it back together. So this is what I'm going to do, and when I get done with this step, we'll move to the next step. Okay guys, we got all the screws removed. At this time, I ain't going to remove this trim. It's stuck on there pretty good, and I may do something different when I go to put it on. So I'm going to leave that on, and we're going to take this 6-inch cut wheel. This is one of these little, it's 6 inches, but the thinnest that I got. And I got my line marked all the way across and down the other side. And we're going to cut this end off. And when you cut this bottom, you're going to be cutting the aluminum plate in there where it sits on your truck bed. Now I need to get me something. I can slide it, just reading I got it on my trailer so I can work here. I can slide it down there to keep it from falling. And I'm going to cut all the way across the top. Now I'm across the top. Now I'm going to try to twist it a little bit so I can cut through the bottom plate on this side. And there she is. I'm glad I didn't break my window when it done that. So now, when I get ready to go back on, I'm going to have to measure in here and cut 1 inch back on each of these braces. And cut 1 inch off of it, so I can slide that right back up under there to screw. But to prepare this front to go back on there, you can see this brace is welded aluminum right there. I'm gonna have to cut it right down beside it. Cut that off, cut this brace off on both ends. That one's actually pot riveted to there, so I'm gonna drill them 2 pot rivets out. And then all I would have had to cut, well, it's still welded even though it's pot riveted. I'm gonna cut this right here and cut that 8 inches off there, and then I can drill that pot rivets out. All right. Now I'm gonna lay this down here at a different angle, and when I get this cut off, we'll continue on. Now we're having to cut this wheel. The next step, guys, I got it over here on this table. I think it's got a screw right there. Let's see. Yep, it had a screw in there. We're gonna remove this trim, because we'll need this trim to go back. And I got a screw in this end that I didn't remove. And we got to save that piece of trim right there. Now I could have done that without cutting it, y'all might say, but I still had to cut them braces, and it's just easier working with a smaller piece. And this has even got screws that was up under that trim. That's funny, they stapled this on there to that aluminum, but like a staple. Must have been an air staple gun. And then it's got a screw down here. And another screw right there. So why they used the staple gun right there, some kind of, not a regular light duty staple gun. We just gonna drive them on up. We're gonna put some 100% silicone on that when we go back. Now we got that prepared to go back on there, but now I got to cut these right here. What is the width of one of them? basically 1 inch back. I gotta nub them off 1 inch back without cutting through my tin. And I gotta do the same thing on this one, on both sides. But I just need this. I don't need that cut 1 inch, because I need this left so where I can screw it back to that. We're gonna put some 1 inch marks like so. Then I'm gonna take a couple of these screws out. That way I can pull that away from that tin and stick a little board behind it so I can cut that without getting into my tin. I'm gonna have to do the same thing on the bottom. Somebody had done put extra screws in this baby, which is fine. But like I said, it's going to be resealed and it's going to end up being painted black. So right now I'm going to stick a little board between here and there. I know y'all ain't getting the best film in here, but if you gonna do this, then you getting enough idea here on how to do it. And that's holding that away, so when I cut that, I won't let my grinder disc get into the siding. Just like so. But this one down here, I'm gonna have to grind it like so. Grind it like so. And probably take a pair of pliers, because that grinder ain't gonna get up in there. I bet I can do it like so. And I can take a pair of pliers and pop them two off. Now I'm gonna do the other side just like that. Just like that with a pair of pliers. But see, you don't want this bottom piece, you want it left long so you can put screws in it back through it, where them pop rivets were in the other one. Just like that right there, guys. Now I'm gonna do the other side. First I'm gonna go get me some water because it's about 98 degrees out here. All right, guys, now we're ready to go back together. Now this is where it would be a lot easier if you had a friend or a buddy helping you. But I don't. So I'm gonna attempt this by myself. And what I may have to do is get one end in there and stick me a screw, because I'm gonna put 100% silicone behind there, but for the right now I'm gonna stick a screw in there to hold it. I'm using self-tapping screws. That's a size bigger round than the ones that come out. Once I get it started, I'll try to get my silicone on there. Like I said, this is where you could use two hands. Somebody could be up on the inside pushing up instead of me trying to do it the way I'm trying to do it here. I almost got it then. So close, but yet so far. Nobody wanted to give me a cigar. So close, but yet so far. Knife blade may work better being thinner. There we go. Now stay there, don't come out. Now what I'm gonna do on this end, I'm using 100% silicone. I'm running a good bead, heavy bead. You remember our trim's going over the top of this. Well, it come back out on me, guys. To get it back in there again, then I can put a screw on it. Alright. Now I can go finish putting the silicone. Now I'm going to bump that in there where it's supposed to be. I'm going to put a screw in it to hold it. Take my little baby hammer here. Put that in there where it's. Put a screw down there in the bottom. Now I can undo this end and put my silicone under there. So since I can get under it right there, I'm gonna go on and put my screw down at the bottom. Then I can take my screwdriver you don't want to skip this part with the silicone. If you do, you end up having a leak. And I don't want to be sleeping while I'm deer hunting and have a leak. I'm going to put me one screw right in the top. Hold it in, and another screw right here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put me a bead of silicone right down through there. No, I ain't. That ain't what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to take this trim that come off here. Looks like I'm going to have to cut I got to cut an inch off each end of it. And I'm going to put a lot of silicone under it. So I got to cut it off an inch to allow for that right there. Alright, now guys, we're gonna go back on with our trim. But before I do that, I gotta cut this trim back 1 inch. Same way on this side over here. And then we're gonna put a good bead of silicone. Now we're gonna put us a good bead of silicone down through there. Because I don't want it to leak. Now we're gonna start back with our trim. Reason I went with one size bigger self-tapping screws is because I'm going back in the same holes. Which I don't think them are hitting the same holes, which that's good. Well, they shouldn't be hitting the same holes. I'm gonna just skip down through here so I can get this lined up and set down correctly. Make sure it's going over you, back over it. Don't, you're gonna have a leak. Alright guys, so now I'm gonna smooth out my silicone down through there where it squished it out. Take me some carburetor cleaner before it dries and get that off, because when I paint won't stick to that 100% silicone. That's the only problem with using 100% silicone. But again, what this is going to be used for, it really wouldn't have to be painted, but I am going to paint it black because it's going to be on my truck during hunting season. So that's it. I'm going to put all my screws on there and get this cleaned up. And the other end will be done just like this end. So that's how you shorten a camper shell if it fits your truck width-wise and just needs to be shortened. Okay guys, so I done the other end just like I did the first end. Went back together real well. The next thing I'm waiting on, I gotta go get some black paint and I'm gonna sand it and I'm gonna paint it all black. I gotta get me a piece of glass for that one broke window and some weather stripping so I can put it on the truck. But that's how you cut your camper tops off. Now of course this is aluminum one, this ain't no fiberglass one, but you can do a fiberglass one like that if you're good at doing fiberglass work and put it back together and sand it down good, but I wouldn't have attempted to do a fiberglass one myself. But anyway, that's the step we at. The next step will be spray painting. Okay guys, so y'all can see us the next day. Yesterday afternoon I washed it, then I sanded it, and then I washed it again, and now we finna paint her black. Alright, we got our first little coat on. I'm gonna let it dry. I'll put the second coat on. That'd be good enough for a camper to hunt in. Well guys, it's a couple afternoons later and you can see I finally got finished with the camper. Again, that was 8-foot long camper. I took both ends off, cut it off approximately 9 1/4 on each end to make it fit my Toyota. They call this a 6.5-foot bed, but it's really about like a 6-foot 7-inch bed on this particular truck. I got my tinted plexiglass in. Everything comes out looking good to me. Now that was a $50 camper. I had to buy the plexiglass. I had to buy the weather stripping to put it on the truck. I got some extra screws and a quart of paint. And I think that was all I needed for us getting the camper put on the truck. I think I got about $160 in there, something like that. So I think it turned out very well. Now I'm gonna do a little walk around, let y'all see it from different angles. But to be just an old style camper shell, to me it looks pretty good on there. Especially for what it is. That's a 2018 Toyota Tundra. And I'm gonna be using that for 1 and 2 night camping trips. There's you a shot from the back. The only thing, I ain't got the keys for it, which I really don't care about it. I ain't gonna have nothing in there it needs to be locked for. Come around this side, y'all see I'm still hooked to my mowers. I'm still a mowing. I mowed all day today. There's you a shot from the back, on the back angle. It actually turned out better than I thought it was going to be when I come across it and purchased it. You can see it sets up above. I don't know if y'all can see that. It sets up above my cab, what, about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. But I think it looks good myself, especially when you go to look at the price of these new. They still make them basically just like this, the aluminum, what I call the old style aluminum camper shell. You're looking at about $2,200 to $2,600 to get one of them. And I got 150. I'm gonna just say I know not over $175 into that part. But guys, that's it for this video. But the next video, or a coming up video soon, you'll see what I got, how I set it up for camping, because I already got a full-length army cot in there, a mini fridge, and I'm gonna be cooling it with a 5,000 BTU window unit. Mine ain't gonna be set up fancy. I ain't building a camper out of it, trying to make it all pretty cabinets and all that. I'm just making this instead of sleeping in a tent. I can pull my other trailer, put my water jugs, my generator, ice chest, and 4-wheeler on my little trailer, just for 1 or 2 night camping trips, because I don't like having to hook to that 33-foot camper over there just to go somewhere for 1 or 2 nights when it's just me by myself. But as always, hope this helps you out. If anybody looked up this video wanting to see if you could cut off a camper, you could do a fiberglass the same way, but you got to be good at doing the fiberglass work and getting it sanded down to paint it, but it can be done. But I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a great day and a blessed week. God bless. See y'all on the next one.
Screen door opens at dawn. He's in the garden alone. wrench hung by the old shop door. Fixed 3 mowers and a screen before 4. Got his overalls on and ready for the day. Ain't no job this man ain't done yet. Don't need no sign, don't need no ad. Everybody knows just where he's at. Down at Papaw's place, you don't need a reason. He'll patch your tire, he'll stop your leaking. Broken fence or broken heart, there ain't nothing he can't start. Welded a go-kart for the grandkid last night. Tuned the guitar right before first light. Gave a stranger $5 for gas. Said now you can mow your grass. Ain't no clock up on that wall. Time means nothing to him at all. Down at Papaw's place, rain or shine, he'll work on a project, he'll drink some wine. Loves his grandson with all pride. He will always there by his side. His hands are cracked, his back is beat. 60 years and he ain't spent. Screen door clicks when the sun goes down. Tomorrow he'll do it all again.